Hello friends, welcome to SQL Server tutorial. In this video, we will see how to use differential database backup and how to restore from this incremental backup. In the last video, we learned how to take full backup. SQL Server supports differential backup, which is also called as incremental backup. With the incremental backup, we can refer a full backup and record only the delta changes from that. So if you see here in this picture, we have full backup which was taken periodically, or we can say every Sunday a backup is taken. So week 1 Sunday there is one full backup, and week 2 Sunday one full backup, here one full backup, and towards the end here one full backup. So the time period is usually decided by the SQL Server administrator based on how quick the database grows, or based on that they will decide the full backup as well as transaction backup period, incremental backup period. So here in this example we just took that full database backup was taken for every week. Then in the bottom side, if you see, we already know that if we specify a period of 1 week, then there is a data loss of 5, or the 6 plus 23 hours, right? That's the data loss period. So what happens here, after taking a full backup, we can specify the incremental backup period. Here the incremental backup, if you see, it is taken daily, so we can assume that every day 11 p.m. incremental backup will be taken. So that means from this full backup it will record the delta changes. That means from this full backup there are some transactions done, so that will be recorded periodically. So it's not a full backup, here it will be incremental, right? So in a week, since we take daily, there may be 6 backups here, incremental backups, right? Daily 24-hour gap within this 1 week period. So there will be full backup at every Sunday and incremental backup on a 24-hour gap. So with the incremental backup, we can refer a full backup and record only the delta changes from that, right? Now, so incremental backups are faster. Why? Because it's recording only the delta changes, right? So it will be faster when you take the backup. So during the restore time, you may see both entries, so full backup as well as incremental backup. So here we are taking the example, a simple example, and in which we manually take one full backup, then one incremental backup. But if it is through automated script as shown in this picture, and so here let's assume that we want to restore towards the end of the week 2, so it will show the full backup period as well as the incremental backup. So you can decide how you want to restore the database. So you can either restore from the full backup period. Let's state that this is the time frame you decide that there is some problem in the database, and from here you are looking for the restore option. right? When you are looking for the restore option, you can either pick the incremental backup and restore from this point. So this is the data loss period. But if you go to full backup period, there will be more data loss period. So usually people will look for the next highest incremental period. If a problem actually happened on this stage, then at least they can recover from the previous incremental period. So all these validated transaction is still there, and we will be canceling only the specific transaction on this period, right? So in this case, in the picture, in the above picture, we selected both pubs full as well as pubs differential. So we took two database backup. One is full backup and another one is differential backup. And when you select both, here SQL Server restores only the incremental part, taking full backup as a reference point. So if in this picture, if you see, there is one full backup here and there is one small incremental backup, and from here you are looking for the restore option, and when you pick both full as well as incremental, so since we have the reference for the full backup as well as incremental backup both ticked, the restore will go up to here and revert the transaction in between this period, right? So your database will be restored up to this point, to the incremental point. When you select only the full backup period and if you skip the differential part, then it performs the full database restore. We already saw this. That means if you take this picture, and it goes till the full backup and restores the database, right? So all these stuffs are cancelled. Transaction done in this period will be cancelled, and here if you see, you still get, you still get the transaction which was done after the full backup, and till the incremental backup you will get the restores, right? So when you tick both, it restores only the incremental part, taking full backup as the reference point. But if you tick only the full, performs full database restore, which we saw in the previous example. Now let's go to the demo and try these two options. All right, now we will go to our backup. We will delete this full backup, and we will go to the backup devices. We will create one more device, pubs, incremental, and we will choose the same location to avoid confusion. Pubs incre. So now we have two devices, but both are pointing to the same location. So now we will take backup of the pubs. Full backup we will take first. Okay, we will remove this pubs full. We will choose full backup. Okay. full pubs bk, and we will click OK here. It shows that backup is created, and you can see pubs full bk. So this we did previously. Now let's assume that after taking the full backup, now database backup is ready, and after that some transaction is going on, and this time we will assume that the specific update is important. Right, now if we select start from jobs, we see these two transactions, and we will assume that these two transactions are important. It is done by the client application, and somebody changed this, and this is important, and it's not a mistake, it's a valid transaction. We will assume like that, and we have a backup, full backup, and if some problem happens, okay, we will mimic that as well. So before mimicking that, we will take one incremental backup as well. We will go to pubs, task, backup. So we want to take backup of pubs. We already have a full backup, and we will state that this time we are taking a differential backup. So this time we will remove the destination and choose incremental backup device. So the path location is same, but the file name is different. So we added a new device for the incremental or differential backup. So backup option, pubs full is there, right? We will state pubs incremental backup. Incremental backup. So that's the description. So in the media option, we will go with this default append to existing backup set. So in the incremental backup, if we decide to add the delta changes, and if we want to append that in the same file, we can go with the backup to the existing media set with the option append to the existing backup set. That's all. Now we will click OK here, and it states that the backup of database pubs completed successfully. Right, now we have two backup. One is the full DB backup, and another one is the incremental backup. So if we want to make a quick review of what we have done so far, before making this transaction, we created a full backup, and we are assuming that is a specific transaction or the specific modification to the jobs table is a valid transaction, and it is important. After making this transaction, we took a incremental backup. So we did all these manually, but you have to assume that the full backup and incremental backups are done through the scheduled jobs. Right? Now, so incremental backup slot. So since we took incremental backup manually, it will be usually done through the job. This is, or this delta change, after full backup we did this, right? So this delta change is recorded in the incremental backup. Now let's assume that there is a error scenario. Here somebody did something so that all sales by store ID 7131 is lost. And in our site, people are asking to revert back the error scenario. Luckily, if you see, since we have the differential backup, we have to revert the database to the differential backup so that only this will be reverted and the valid transaction will be preserved. If you restore or if we don't have a differential backup, the only option is to revert back the database to the previous full backup period. But if we do that, we will lose this change, right? We are assuming that this is a valid transaction, so that will be the data loss. Even though we are recovering from this error, the user environment, they have to redo all these tasks. All right, now let us see how we can use incremental backup so that we can only avoid this error and preserve this specific update. So select start from sales. If you see, we don't have 7131, and select start from job. We have two valid transaction. We don't want to lose this. Now here we are going to task restore database, and if you see here, by default the option is showing as two backup entities. Here you can see the type is full, here the type is differential, and both are in selected state. I mean, if you click differential, it will automatically place a tick mark on the full. Why? Because differential backup needs full backup because it's just a delta change, right? So here we are picking the full incremental backup. Here we will go with the overwrite existing database. Let's go back to the general screen. If you choose only the full database, then you will lose this change. Will lose this change. So here what we are doing is we are selecting both the option. That means here we are asking use the full backup as a reference point and revert back to the differential backup. Alright, here we will click OK now. So it will perform the restore option. Before that we have to close all the connection. Now we will click OK here. It states that database pubs restored successfully to or till the differential backup. Now we will go to the new query window. So if we do select star from job, you still see these two modifications. So this is preserved, and select star from sales, you see 7131. So that is reverted back. Reverted back in the sense here we deleted that, right? Since we moved till the differential backup, we reverted the deletion of these 7131 records, and we are still preserving the jobs. You see, modified job 1, modified job 2. Now let's go to the pubs again. Task restore database. Let me keep this in clipboard. Close the connection. Perform the restore. So this one is coming because maybe previously we asked to take the tail log backup. Tail log means it will be useful if the backup, the restore operation is failed. We can make use of this tail log. Alright, now let me remove everything and choose only the full DB backup, and we'll choose overwrite, and we restored it, and this time we will restore our database. So here we just assumed this as a valid one, right? But we want to actually revert back the pubs DB as it was supplied to us. That's all here in this video. Thank you for watching. Bye.